Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm going to kind of cover some engine bay dress up. I'm waiting for some more parts from Perrin. I've got an intake coming as well as a charge pipe coming, so we got some good things down the line, just waiting on back order from him. But today I have, to my left here, I have the Perrin Alternator cover, and to my right I have the Perrin Fender Shrouds. I got them all in powder coated red. I want to kind of keep everything red and black or whatever that I can underneath the hood, kind of with the theme. So without further ado, let's get under the hood and get this installed. Alright, so the first one we're going to tackle today is going to be the alternator cover. I think this is absolutely beautiful. The only other one that I think looks better than this probably is the Mishimoto, only because it has kind of like that honeycomb look, but I'm kind of anal. I want to keep everything the same, so I'm trying to keep everything under the hood Perrin as far as I can. And I think this does look amazing. It's going to look great installed. Inside, of course, he gives you a front license plate cover, or rear if you want, whatever the case is. I'm not going to use it. And then a nice set of printed instructions. You can see I haven't even got into this yet. And all the hardware that you are going to need to get this project done. And I think there's some stickers inside. They're probably upstairs actually inside my house, because I did open this already just to make sure that nothing was damaged in shipping. But let's get this package open. I'm going to kind of review over the instructions, and we'll get back underneath the hood. Alright, so we're under the hood. First thing we're going to need to do is there's a 10mm bolt right here. We're going to take that off real quick. Set that over to the side, and then we pull. This side's loose, this side's just a push tab. We're going to pull up, and off this comes, the factory one, gone. Alright, next thing we're going to need to do is there's a rubber grommet where we push this in. We're just going to slide this out. It's not going to be reused. We'll just go ahead and set it over to the side. And then this loom, your alternator is going to be right here. You're going to have an actuator solenoid right here. We're going to need to reroute this back behind. Oh shit, camera almost fell. Let's get that put back up here. Alright, so we'll just take and push in on this clip right here on this actuator solenoid, and then gently remove this. Right, so now this is free. We're going to route it back behind, up underneath and back behind, and literally just plug it right back in. Okay, we're just rotating this down and out of the way so it can clear now. Okay, so inside of our packet here, we're going to need to get into the double-sided tape. You're going to have a couple tabs here. Let's see if I can work this up. Set this up here. So there's a small thing of double-sided tape. We're going to use this on this bracket. We just routed the wire up underneath. The very top of that bracket, we're actually going to set that right there on top of that bracket. Okay, press that down so it's good and stuck, and then we're going to remove the red segment here, and then we're going to get this long, because you got these two spacers. We're going to get the long one here. So we're going to get the long spacer. It's going to sit right here on top of the alternator. The short spacer goes where that rubber grommet we removed. It goes in that same spot to replace it. We're going to get into the bolts and the washers. So we're going to start with the long side first. So we're going to get one washer and the long bolt. We're going to go ahead and put the washer on the bolt. We'll go ahead and get the Allen wrench that he supplies as well. We'll go ahead and just get that out. And then we're going to grab our alternator cover. So we're going to gently place this over, not to press onto the double-sided tape yet, but get it over and kind of center it so it looks nice and centered in that plate. Okay, it looks good. And then so now I'm going to kind of press that back side right there, and then we're going to run this one bolt down with the washer into the alternator bracket, top alternator bracket. So we're gonna run it down kind of snug. I'm not gonna wrench it real hard just yet because we still gotta move some things around. So this is gonna kind of be a bit of a tricky spot. We've got to, there's one more bolt, two more washers, and a nut, okay? This is gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt to get to secure this, but we've got to put a bolt and a washer just like this through the top side down. But this doesn't actually screw into anything, okay? Because this bolt just goes straight through to the bottom. But what we're gonna do is there's a nut and another washer that we've got to actually reach from the bottom side here to get this started. So that's gonna be a bit of a chore.
One eternity later.
All right, let's try this again. I had to go out or go fish out all the pieces that I dropped down the bottom. I'm telling you, this is not this is not just simple, easy. His instructions say, oh, it's slightly tricky because of the space. That's a crock of shit. This is extremely hard. So what I'm gonna try now is to take, this is a 10mm wrench. I'm gonna try to hold on to the nut. I've taped the wrench and the nut and the washer all into one package. Maybe I can do it from this way. Oh, money. Okay, there we go. The trick is to come in from this side here at the oil filter. Come in this way on top of your alternator belt with that whole taped concoction. Since I've got this one started, let me run this side down. So turn that in pretty good, and then I'm gonna come back to this side. I wonder if a man could tape just the bottom and then almost like super glue the nut and washer in line. I think would be a better trick. If I was to do that again, I would take the nut, or I'd take the nut and then a small dab of super glue, lay the washer dead in line on top of it, let it cure, and then I would just lay tape across the back side of this with the nut and washer combo, and that way the tape is just laid out, and then go in this way and then tighten it down. So let's move on to the fender shrouds. All right, same thing in the fender shrouds, guys. You're gonna have a nice package with the Allen wrench, all supplied hardware you need, and instruction packet to read through, and these studs, and then inside are the beautiful matching fender shrouds. So let's get all this unpackaged and get the factory ones off. All right, we're gonna move on real quick to the fender shrouds. I've already got the one side thrown in over there just so I can make sure I do this properly. So you're gonna have 3 plastic push pins right here. We're going to pop the push pin up, and it's a 2-piece. We're gonna continue, when you take this out, we're actually gonna take the core out of it, okay? And then we'll replace the center section back in, and we're going to use one of these standoffs, and the standoff goes back in its place, and then you're going to push it in and it will snap back in. These are cut in a rectangle format. Try to keep the rectangle long lengthways up and down. So we've got 3 bolts and 3 corresponding washers. We're going to line this piece up, and I'm just going to do one at a time. 1 bolt, 1 washer. We're going to align it into that rectangle. We'll make sure that it fits into that rectangle. I'm going to kind of hand thread that in. And then using the supplied Allen wrench, I'm going to kind of just tighten this down. Same thing on the top. Align make sure that the rectangle fits into that slot. Sometimes you got to manipulate this around just a little bit. And then I'm going to come to the middle. The middle one seems to be a little bit more difficult than the rest. So I'm going to kind of push this over and in. You'll hear it snap in because that means that rectangle fell into place. And then I'm going to tighten this one down really good. So it's in. I'm going to go back to the top, tighten it down real good. And then I'm going to come back to the first. And there we go. Everything's in now, guys. It's done. Looking great. The Perrin fender shrouds look amazing. Alternator cover looks great, both sides. I think it all is like starting to kind of come together and look really good. whenever I get the matching Perrin charge pipe that's red. It's going to look great. And then of course we're going to get the Perrin red intake, so it's all just going to come together and look beautiful. And that's going to be it for me for this install. The fender covers, ultra easy, 5 minutes. I mean, tops. They didn't take any time whatsoever to install. The alternator cover, not so much. That was a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm going to be honest with you, trying to get that fished in, but kind of as I covered, I would definitely get, like, you know, like I said, with the super glue, dab the super glue on there to kind of align the washer and the nut up onto your wrench, and then come in from the oil filter side. And I think it would be okay at that point. All in all, it wasn't bad. It was just that one bolt specifically above the alternator and getting that nut secured on there. So otherwise, though, all looks really good. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit. Subscribe to the channel if it did. Like the video, kind of boost me up in the algorithm. Throw a comment down below, guys, if you like the content, if you don't like the content. If there's something else that you want to see me do, specific mods, anything like that you want me to cover. That's the only way I know if this content's good or what you guys want to see. But that's going to be it for me. Till the next video, peace.